I don't know about you, but I think we need more parents like this. Parents who make their children, and yes, even their adult children, accountable for their egregious actions. Not like the Aiden Fucci mother, the mother who, well, let's talk about this really quick. Side quest. The mother who washed her son's bloody jeans after he stabbed Tristan Bailey over 100 times. And you know what? If you had a loved one and they came home with some bloody clothes, innocently, you might just be like, oh, maybe they had a bloody nose. I'll clean it up. No, that's not what happened here. Her son was being interviewed by law enforcement, and the mom was also there as well, so she knew what was going on. Law enforcement took the son away, and subsequently, what did the mother do? The mother went into her son's bedroom, found a pair of bloody jeans, took to the bathroom, and started scrubbing right away. And you know what? If I remember correctly, I think this was caught on the home surveillance footage, their own home family surveillance footage. Not very smart. Sorry, I'm totally doing the Adam Lally side quest. Let's get back to the main story. This poor mother turned on the news and saw her daughter on the screen. She wanted to blur her face on the news, so I'll just call her Mrs. J instead of using her full name. What did Mrs. J's daughter do? Well, she murdered a man over $60. When asked why the 26-year-old daughter did it, she said she was thirsty for money. I'm not being hyperbolic. That was literally said in the arrest affidavit. She was thirsty for money. Now, apparently, the victim met her at a gas station, offered her $60 for some sexual acts, and they proceeded to drive to a nearby park to do it, I guess. But the daughter, she didn't have any intention of reciprocating. She had the plan of robbing the man straight up, and that's what she did. She shot him with a gun, robbed him, and then ran off. But what she didn't know was that in the nearby area, there was surveillance footage that caught her leaving the crime scene. She took that money and then spent it on a $47 hot wings combo meal for her and her boyfriend. Does that sound expensive to you guys? 2 hot wing combos for $47. That sounds kind of pricey. And I live in LA. It sounds kind of pricey. Oh boy. Oh God, the cost of food is just going up so much. Anyways, they only had about $13 left. So imagine this. You rob someone, you get 2 hot wings combo, and then you only got $13 left. Was it really worth it? You murdered someone over this? So poor Mrs. J. She sees her daughter on the news. She's on their way to turn her daughter in. She brings the daughter with her. I'm actually really surprised that the daughter agreed to turn herself in. Maybe she decided to listen to her mom instead of being combatant about it. But she's driving on the way to homicide. She lets them know, like, hey, I saw my daughter on the news. I'm bringing her in so she can turn herself in. Mrs. J did make a statement that she doesn't believe that her daughter actually pulled the trigger. She said that maybe she was scared with the guy that she was with. I'm not really quite sure what that means. 2 different ways to actually interpret that. Maybe she meant that the man that she was with who wanted the, sexual act for $60, maybe she was scared and, she shot him. Or maybe she meant that the daughter's boyfriend is a bad influence and maybe the daughter's boyfriend made her do this. Maybe he was the one that was involved. I'm not really quite sure. Those are just the 2 different thoughts that came up in my mind. Now, as you're listening to the interview with Mrs. J, I'll link it down below. She just sounds incredibly heartbroken about this. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? There are some parents, though, who get really defensive about their kids. And anyways, let's focus on Mrs. J. She said, I don't condone violence. I don't. If you do something, you'll pay for it. And like I said, she was incredibly broken up about this. She wanted there to be a lesson out there for young adults. And she said to them, you need to think about your actions. You need to think about what you're doing before you do something. They need to be a leader, not a follower, and watch who they hang around with, which is why I think Mrs. J may possibly think that the daughter's boyfriend may be a bad influence on her and maybe did it or told her to do it, something like that. That's what I'm assuming. But most importantly, it's not just about her daughter. Mrs. J says that, she doesn't know who did it, what went down, how it all happened. But she doesn't want to get lost in all this about a life that was taken, that there's a victim out there and there's a victim's family. I don't know, the interview was really short, but I feel like there is so much good assumptions that you can make from Mrs. J. It's not only someone who is heartbroken about the situation, someone who is willing to report and bring her own daughter to law enforcement because she was involved in this crime or allegedly involved in this crime, but not only that, but she also had the time to even think about other people in the situation, not just her and her daughter. And it's really sad because now she's going to have to deal with having her daughter being, in and out of courtrooms, right? And I'm sure Mrs. J might be there to support her daughter. But her daughter murdered someone. She's charged with first-degree murder. She's possibly facing life in prison or even the DP, death penalty. So this is tough. I mean, I feel so sad for her. I just think it's really important to talk about things like this because I like talking about true crime stuff. You know, we usually focus on people who do bad things, bad behaviors, but I think it's also important to highlight people who do good things as well. There's been so many times when we do true crime stuff and we see families will support the perpetrator no matter what. You know, one example, Chad Daybell's kids. It's disappointing. I get it that they're your family, and I get you don't want to believe that your family member did something wrong, but if the evidence is there and it seems pretty fucking apparent, why are you in so much denial? So when I see someone who ends up doing the right thing and takes the steps and measures to do the right thing, and they report their children, their family members of something that they think they did illegally, it's hard to do, but it's something that I completely admire them for doing. And I just feel like I wish we see more of that. You know, I wish we see more of that. Maybe we do see more of that. It's just reported on the news. Before it goes, sorry, I was trying to look up this case because I wanted to give the specific details, but I couldn't find it on Google. I didn't realize how many sleepover murders there are out there. So there's this case that always resonated with me, and it's just because how fucked up it is. I remember there was like a teenager who went up to their friend's house for a sleepover and never came back. Parents were like, "Where's my child? What happened?" And the other family members, they were trying to play dumb, like, "Oh, we don't know what happened. I don't know." And for, I think, a couple of years, the parents never found out whatever happened to their child. Come to find out that the other family where the sleepover took place, it seems like the sons, I think there was like two brothers, I think it was like two brothers. I think the two brothers, or the older brother, murdered the teen that slept over, and then the mom and dad decide to be in on it by covering it up for their kid instead of turning their kids in. Oh boy, it's like, who cares that there's another family looking for their child? Who cares that another family's never gonna get resolution? So if I remember correctly, and I don't know if I'm screwing this up, I hope not, but if you guys know which case I'm talking about, can you please tell me? Because I tried Googling it and I couldn't find it. But what ends up happening, the family that covered the murder, I think one of the son had drama with the entire family, and in order to get them back, I think he went to the police and told on them, but also in a way telling on himself. So it's like, great job, but you only did it because you're trying to gain from something, targeting the people that you wanted to hurt. So anyways, so whenever I hear cases like that where people are covering up for their family members, it's just frustrating. Can't we just do the right thing, or try to? But thank you so much for watching. If you guys liked and enjoyed, comment. And why am I getting so messed up here? This is why I don't do endings. When I do endings, they all sound so screwed up. If y'all enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, And also, we do live streams too. I've been live streaming the Karen Reed trial. It's been taking up my time, quite some time, but I promise y'all we'll be doing other cases as well, not focusing just on the Karen Reed trial, because there's a lot of cases that are very interesting right now. And we have a lot of upcoming trials that are happening. But like I said, enjoy and join the Discord if you like. We do have a true crime channel for the Discord. And if you want to, you can talk about other things as well, not just true crime stuff. But other than that, thank you for being here, and I will see you guys maybe in the live streams. Bye.